Why so?
It is birthday season,
Oh, yes, you've
and
got lots of family members that have birthdays, don't you?
and also well, I'll check in with it, but we'll get to that in a moment.
Oh, okay. All right. Good morning, Project Six.
Morning, morning. Morning.
Have your numbers dropped?
Slightly. Little bit, yeah.
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 Okay. All right. So, welcome everyone. We have Anthony joining us today. Anthony, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, can do. Um, I found Recovery Connections as it's based in Middlesbrough. I grew up in South Bank, in Middlesbrough. Um, I came into recovery in January last year. I went into residential treatment for psychiatric reasons in July last year. And yeah, I am 14 months sober and clean. And living this new path, and recovery coaching is one thing that I was interested in, so that's why I'm here.
Great. Okay. So, stick around. You can stick around for a couple of classes and then see if this works for you, and then you can sign up. Or you can be like Jamil, who just signed up straight away after last week's class. How are you doing, Jamil? Do you want to check in?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you. Hello, everyone on the panel. Can't see you, but hello. Checking in, yeah. I'm doing okay, thank you. Glad to be here. My first official session here. And feeling good today. Uh, feeling good, feeling positive, and can't wait to get started.
Great, thank you. I'll tag Charlie for you. Charlie, would you like to go next?
Hi, Dave. Hi, David. Hi, everyone. I am checking in, um, excited, a bit anxious because I haven't been in this call in a while, but I'm excited because we've just launched our new Lero last night, and we launched our website, so we'll be launching that in the next couple of weeks. So a tinge of nerves, a tinge of oh, I'm actually doing this. It's not just talk anymore. So I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm anxious, but I'm grateful to be in this call. And I will, has James went? I'll
No.
tag James.
Hi, good morning. So there's some people I haven't really met before, so I'll give you a rough précis. I'm James Howard Cofield. I'm connected to the Kent Lero Reach Out and Recover. Um, I am bouncing around between about another 30 days clean and sober again after a bit of a tumultuous kind of couple of months. Um, but it's those are the things that I kind of like I find disappointing in definition for myself. Like, yeah, I don't really want to refer to my clean time and sobriety as me. Um, that's kind of what I'm here for, really. Um, I will check in today with feeling grateful and contemplative. So, without being too maudlin about it, myself and a few friends went to a grave yesterday to wish one of our dead Irish friends happy St. Patrick's Day. He died at the beginning of the year. Um, Alcohol related ketostasis or something like that. Alcohol poisoning. So I'm very grateful to be here, and I think that the experiences that I've had within my life are the things that draw me towards these conversations. And I will go straight out and tag anyone from the Six Project.
Project Six. Yeah, let's go with Freddie.
Checking in, feeling a little bit anxious today. Had a bit of a rushed morning, but I'm I'm looking forward to the session. I think, yeah, I'm looking forward to just connect in this space and sort of solely focus here. So I find that my mind can sort of be here, there, and everywhere. So I look forward to having something to focus on concretely. I'll tag Alex.
Thank you, Freddie. I'm feeling good. Checking in as I'm Alex. Checking in as checking in as wanting to. I'm realizing I don't feel grateful, but I know that I can create that through speaking. So just to acknowledge that everybody, I think we're all men in here in this container today, just powerful men. I'm grateful for that opportunity to be with everybody. I've had a few days off, feeling a bit under the weather, and I'm back today. So it's sort of like that feeling of like coming back to something. So a little bit like apprehensive about what I'm coming back to and how I'll be received. Yeah, it's me. And I'll tag Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris, feeling slightly docile today. I think I need to get back to doctors about sleeping properly, but regarding that, quite looking forward to today, see what it brings.
I'm Tim, checking in. I'm fine, thanks. Nothing astounding to report, but just cracking on with doing the modules and looking forward to today. Thank you. I'll pass on to Stan, please.
Morning, everybody. I'm Stan. I'm checking in as slightly anxious, but happy to be here. I didn't do anything yesterday, so it's kind of been a long weekend. Feeling a bit flat. Actually, a little bit lonely 1 or 2 days, which is in me. I'm normally quite happy with myself. So, yeah, I'm checking in as happy to be here today. I pass on to Cody.
Yeah, I'm okay. Feel a bit anxious. I've had a lot going on. Hospital appointments, doctors, with my son and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm all right. Just feel a bit anxious. Okay then. Dom.
Hi, Dom checking in. I'm feeling a bit of pressure at the minute. I've got a job application to get through by Sunday. I haven't really started it. So I wish I'd done something yesterday, but I had noisy neighbours. So yeah, I'm good though.
Is that everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So David checking in. I feel rattled. I feel so rattled working in this crisis, chaos, and conflict in the world of recovery, and just trying to bring recovery capital to the world. Yeah. So just to give you an example, it's just I did a class this morning with the University of Zambia, where we had students there that are in their first year to just try and create recovery capital there to support one of our coaches, who's his name's Rabson, and he's got lived experience. He's a 32-year-old man that's in recovery, and he really is on fire and enthusiastic and wanting to do this work. And yeah, so being someone who's been around in this environment for quite a while, I've got a lot of experience of the ups and downs of recovery and what that looks like, and also what I find interesting as well is, from what I can tell, it's there are no women here today. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that always brings a different dynamic to things as well, for me. Yeah. So I'm not sure where we're going to go. So Anthony, just to give you an overview of the training, Yeah. There are 5 skills that we learn: the coaching conversation, the continuum, the system, the 4Q leadership model, and then creating a container. Yeah. And this is what we're doing now, is creating the container. We create the container by checking in, contracting, and then we have the container. And the container is an adult learning environment. And then what we do is we wait for the agenda to emerge in the container. So while I'm facilitating, I'm tying it back to the various parts of the training. Now, there's the online study where the content is written in a very structured way and people can go through the content. I think Tim said you were going through the content. Is that correct, Tim?
I'm going through the 4 modules.
Yeah, great. Okay. So that's quite a linear process, yeah?
Yeah.
The other thing that we're looking for is experiential, that people spend time in the container to get some experience of what coaching is, the practical side of it, and the process of it. Yeah. And so for me, I've been going through the process of feeling quite stressed this morning, trying to get people together in an African country where cell phone signal was poor, the accent was different, and the age gap was huge. So I'm an old 58-year-old white guy trying to speak to kind of young black Zambian youths about stress. Yeah. And the first thing I needed to acknowledge was the world is very different today than when I was 20 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the dynamics of the culture is completely different. 30 years ago, almost 40 years ago, there was no cell phones. In fact, I don't even think there were fucking fax machines. Yeah. And the whole learning environment was very different. Yep. Nowadays, everyone was connected and we just spoke about stress and mental well-being. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of find out, well, what is it that they want to learn about? So the agenda always comes from the client. Yeah. Now, with Project 6 down there, we did a 3-day intensive. Yeah, it was the same with James. So they spend 20 hours in a classroom, and now they're following up with 10 weeks of 2 hours. Yep. And is this your 5th class?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So you guys are halfway through. Yep. Okay. So let's start with Project 6, who are now 30 hours down the journey. Yep. Jamie's just come on with, Jamil's just come on with 2 hours, and now he's entering his 3rd hour. Yep. And Anthony, you've just arrived.
Yep.
For the Project 6 guys, what was it like when we first started this training? How far have you come? Or have you gone backwards?
We've definitely changed as a group, and we've developed a safe space, and sort of we've definitely deepened sort of the relationship we had and our ability to be vulnerable with each other. I think there's a shared understanding and a shared sort of compassion that we have for each other. So it's doing this experience together has strengthened us as a unit and strengthened us as we approach recovery. And I think for me personally, it's allowed me to be more of an active listener, to participate in a group differently, to observe people and remove myself from conversations almost, to create that divide and that space to allow people to express whatever they might need in a supportive environment. It's given me a lot of insight, like personally and professionally. And although the experience wasn't like anything that I ever expected, and that's allowed me to have more freedom in my learning style. It's felt quite experiential, and I've definitely lead into to sort of the trusting the process element of it. I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything.
Is it still adding value, Freddie?
I believe so, yeah.
Good. Will you let me know if it doesn't?
If I may, if it's okay to add on this one, it's just a quick example from this morning. So I've embarked upon a new relationship with a lady that's kind of fairly immaterial, but it'll give you an idea as to why. Conversations that we've been having in this hemisphere and within these kind of like communities of practice have started to reflect in my life that that is not about recovery. It is not, within a conversation with people about how we're doing. It's more like an emotional reflection. So it led me towards a thing today where I realised that what I was trying to do was to apply a solutions-based conversation to what the lady was trying to tell me. She did not want a solution. She just wanted to tell me what was going on.
Right.
And I noticed that and said, "Do you want me to come up with some solutions, or do you just want to go blah?" And she said, "I just want to go blah, thank you." And I, cool, good, fire away. And that's as a result of the conversations that we've had within these hemispheres, because I was not like that before. I was always kind of like, have to find solutions, have to do this, have to do that. So that's kind of, I think, Freddie, where I see those things as a kind of like a bounce off into life, your actual life, rather than it being contained within the container. Like, you take these experiences and then you move them outside. Anyway, sorry for the interjection.
Don't be sorry, that's a perfect interjection. Yeah. All right. So listening differently. Yeah. Okay. Yep, let's keep exploring.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add on to what James said, to be honest. And Freddie, I always kind of thought that I had to come up with an answer straight away, and that's not the case. That's not the case. And I'm learning to like say, listen, not everybody wants an answer, and how am I qualified to give an answer? So I'm learning just to listen. But whilst I'm listening, I'm kind of working as well. I'm kind of working in that I'm actively listening, and I'm finding myself actively listening to what the person is saying rather than waiting for a gap so I can get my point across. I'm finding myself listening a lot more, and my point's not always needed. I'll just leave it there. Yeah.
And Stan, your role at Project 6 is you're a volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So,
well, yeah.
You just got a job.
Oh, you did you get a job?
Yeah.
Oh, you poor bastard.
Okay.
I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. Tell us about that, if that's okay.
Pardon?
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's only a couple of days a week. It's working for the IPS team, which is Independent Placement Support, helping people from addiction back into work.
Wow.
So if you want a model for that, I'm sat here in front of you. You know what I mean? A year ago I was hopeless, and now I'm being useful again.
Okay,
yeah.
and how's coaching helped you? I'm just it's just my agenda's coming in here, and I just want to hear that the coaching's fantastic and it's changed your life.
My personal thing is, I think people already know what they want, but they don't know how to vocalize it. So it's a case of listening and picking up and trying to put the jigsaw together in a way that the person or the coachee then comes up with the answer themselves.
Great. So creating the space where the individual comes up with a solution.
Yeah.
And often people have this have an answer, but they ask questions in a way to kind of wait to see if their answer's valid.
Everybody wants a bit of affirmation, don't they? They want to say, yeah, that's right. Because once you've been in addiction, there's that many, you don't know where you are some days, and people just want a bit of positivity. But true positivity comes from the person themselves.
So having a coaching conversation with someone gives them a bit of clarity as to where they're at.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Well, who like, am I enrolled in my own life? Have I found a space where I've been able to like enroll myself into my own life? Because for me, for years it was just something that were happening. It just happened, and I was just like, "Whoa, life's happening," and oh, that's terrible, and I should have a drink and sniff some cocaine, and like I weren't enrolled in my life. So I see like when we speak to people, it's an opportunity to like practice loads of different, you could say, skills and abilities to like help people enroll themselves into their own life so they can create what they want to create from it. That's how I see it. And if we haven't got an enrollment, then it's not happening. And that's fine too. That has to be all right. It's like, okay, then, you know, forgiveness for that. It's like, okay, just let that be. That's how I like to see it. That's how it makes sense to me.
Okay. I'm all for that as well. So it's about having a conversation with someone where they get empowered to live the life that they're choosing to live.
Yeah. Yeah. To buy into themselves, probably
To buy, yeah.
for the first, like invest. Like imagine you're giving me, I know you've not got any money, but imagine that you have. Pay the money, invest in yourself so you can create what you want to create. And then with that, you're creating value for yourself. So so it's like when you pay to go to the gym and you pay 50 quid a month or whatever. If you were paying £200 a month, you'd definitely go to the gym more than you would if you were paying £50 a month, and definitely more than you would if you were paying 20. The more you invest, the more you're going to show up. And recovery, I don't really like the word recovery, because that's sort of like throwing up images of like recovering something. But I didn't want to recover who I was when I was 20. I can just leave that where it is. I don't want anything from that. So to me, it's more of a discovery about what's possible outside of recovery. Recovery is like fixing something. To me, like it's a discovery of like what's possible into the future.
So
The currency is recovery capital. Love that.
The currency of recovery. Speak up, Freddie. Speak your wisdom. Don't keep it to yourself and whisper. Oh, the currency of recovery capital. Okay. All right. So, Anthony, how are you doing?
How am I doing? Yeah, I'm all right. It's good. It's good to hear what's going on, and it'd be good to learn a bit more about the structure and how it all goes.
What have you noticed so far?
Uh, People are open, and with the check-ins, being vulnerable, and yeah, feels like a safe space. I guess I spent 3.5 months in rehab, and there's daily containers. We had 2 or 3 group sessions a day, so it feels like this is like a similar environment. Starting with a feelings check-in and a safe space. The facilitator is not directing the conversation too much, and it's letting the individuals say what's going on for them and what their experiences are. I think that's how it feels.
May I ask which rehab you went to?
I started the Priory in January as an outpatient, and then I went inpatient in a rehab in Thailand called the Dawn.
The Don.
Dawn, Dawn.
Oh, Dawn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that was a big sigh when I asked you, and you kind of folded your arms and, oh, well, I went to the Priory and then I went to Dawn, yeah. And now that I've acknowledged that, you've kind of smiled, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Are you okay if we explore that a bit more?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So when you look back, how do you feel when you?
I feel grateful to be alive. When I arrived at the dawn, I was unsafe. I was obsessed with killing myself, and I couldn't be on my own. I was escorted onto a plane at Teesside Airport and escorted off a plane. I had a bad experience with the Priory, so I didn't want to be admitted there as a resident, and I guess I tried a few of the other rehabs around the UK, but at the time my needs were more mental health and psychiatric than addiction, and a lot of them are addiction focused. And this place in Thailand, I had a dysfunctional upbringing, and I guess for my life experience, I lived in a small town in the northeast of England, which is one of the most violent areas in the country. So I spent lots of time fighting. I thought football was my ticket out of there. I played football for Middlesbrough and Grimsby Town until I was 19, but when that stopped, I fell in with gangs. I was living in a house selling drugs at 19. I was running around doing bad things, robbing drug dealers and all of
So,
that.
so
And
Anthony, I just want to pause you for a second. Yeah,
yeah.
this is being recorded to an unlisted recording. Yeah, and the reason we record it is for kind of academic purposes.
Oh, yeah.
So, but if you ever say anything that you feel uncomfortable with and you want it deleted, just let me know and then I'll delete it. So really just want to keep you safe here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I guess that was my experience, and I guess a lot of my maladaptive core beliefs as I learned in rehab around all of that and the trauma from, I never really wanted to do that. I was just doing what everyone else, I just fell into that because I didn't have anything else after football. And, I got in a lot of trouble. I overdosed a couple of times, and I had some bad issues with alcoholism, but I left home and moved to London, and then I just carried those patterns and the hypervigilance all through my life, and not knowing how to manage or understand my emotions. I'm neurodiverse, as I've found out. I've been seeing a therapist for the last 10 years and trying to figure out. And I think going into treatment was, it was my therapist who did there was an intervention. And my life completely fell apart. I lost my partner, couldn't really see my son. The guy in the Priory had heavily sedated me because I was suicidal for so long. So it was, and I think I was just withering away on this sofa, man. I was under 10 stone, wasn't eating, wasn't sleeping. So, but that wasn't the first time I've kind of had that, it keeps coming back every few years. And my therapist recognized that and said, enough's enough. And so I think going to treatment, I think you have a specific treatment and individual treatment plan for your needs, but you also sit in lots of group sessions, and you hear other people's experiences. And I think in treatment, I've finally admitted that I'm an addict. I just surrendered to everything because I couldn't go on. I guess the one thing through all the therapy I was still using, even though my therapist was telling me I'm an addict. I chose not to believe that. And I guess I guess to some extent I was managing it because I had parental responsibilities. But any chance I got, I'd just be, chaos. And so I think going into the treatment center, it was quite a scary thing to be institutionalized and locked into somewhere, but also surrendering to it and being able to do that intensive work on myself without any external stress. And, it was, I guess, I kind of wanted to do, well, it was a last minute option, but I was grateful that there was the East versus West and medicine side of things in the treatment center. So there was lots of meditating and sound balls and, Thai massage and Tai Chi and, all of that side of things. And I think that because of the neurodiversity in my mind, that kind of helped to ground me in those uncertain times. Treatment wasn't easy after 8 weeks. I was still suicidal, just in some way. But I think through hard work and acceptance and surrender, and self-compassion, I guess the last 5 or 6 weeks in there, things started to, I've never really lived in a routine. And so sticking to the timetable you had, if you stuck to your timetable, you got to leave on a Sunday to go on a trip, you know, whatever that may be in Thailand, went swimming in a, paddle boarding in the mountain or whatever. And I think if you didn't do that, that if you missed the sessions, then you weren't allowed to do that. And so I fully committed to it and proved to myself that I could live in routine. And yeah, I think it was great. I did EMDR, TMS. I did a in-depth trauma program to give me new healthy coping mechanisms and tools. And I'm not saying that it's all been straight up trajectory since I've been home. I've been home for 5 months now. But I'm getting through each day. My adult functioning self is back, and just yeah, I think on the tough days, I just remember where I was in July, entering the dawn, and things are okay, and I think I don't have to understand why my mind is the way it is. I think I just have to learn how to manage it daily, and choosing not to take drugs or alcohol to cope, it allows me to make the correct choices. The one thing my therapist said, by not using and drinking, you have that self-responsibility and that ability to make the correct choice that you need. What's going to take you closer to relapse, or what's going to take you closer to the life you want to live in the future, I guess. So I learned a lot, and what I found with my neurodiversity is all of the things I tried in previous years, having a session here in a week with one therapist, seeing an acupuncturist, seeing a psychiatrist, week by week wasn't enough, but the intensive time I had in treatment, it planted a seed for a new way of life, which I'm grateful for.
That was a lot, Anthony. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, I feel all right, man.
Okay.
I'm still taking quite a lot of medication, so I don't, it's not like I'm still quite numbed out by things.
That's all right. So I just want to put some context here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is that this is a classroom. Yeah.
yeah,
This is like school. So it's not like treatment, it's not like group therapy. Yeah.
yeah,
This is a classroom. So you're here as a student coming to learn a skill set. Yeah.
yeah,
If at any time you need additional support or something, let us know and we'll support accordingly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, cool. That sounds good.
And the
I guess,
second thing I want to say is, yeah, just kind of thank you for opening up like that and giving us a bit of your story. I can see Jamil was kind of nodding at times in your story, and then
Yeah.
James wanted to put his hand up and come in, and yeah, you know, Alex was sitting there on his chair down in Project 6 all four leaned forward. So yeah, thanks for that. James, did you
no.
still want to say something?
Well, I think really, Anthony, you kind of answered my hand raise. That's why I took it down. Um, but it was very much about what you do with that information. You know, so and you kind of got towards the end of what you said. You said it's planted a seed, and then you're growing from that. Because I think that's the most interesting part of all of the experiences, which was amazing, by the way, and thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. Um, but then how you relate those experiences to the rest of your life. You know, that's the bit that I find interesting more than anything else. Is you take those lessons and your self discoveries, and then how you rebuild. And I was going to ask how are you doing with that? You know, that was what my hand was up for. Like, how are you relating those things to you now?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, you know, since I've come back, I've part of a 12-step fellowship, and you know, I think I guess from 19 years old to where I am now, you know, I've had 20 years of living. That's been my identity of how I spent my life. And I guess, you know, it's accepting that this new way of life, you know, there has to be change. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. And you know, I think by working the 12 steps, and you know, I need to discover who I actually am, because I've been living behind a mask and addiction for such a long time, you know. And I think, yeah, my days, I'm still in early recovery, getting home, but I think relating it to my life, you know, I'm a parent, and I'm able to, you know, use the experiences to be a more positive influence in his life. You know, and I think in the fellowship, sharing my experience, you know, for the newcomer, and I think, you know, it's still all early doors, and it has been a bit of a roller coaster. You know, I won't say that my mental health's been up and down since I got out, but you know, I'm getting through the days
I'll
and living
definitely
positively.
meet you on that one, Anthony, completely. You know, and it really
So
relates to.
James, just before you go off, the what I want to say is you asked a great question there. So I engaged. Anthony spoke, and then you asked another question, which was an open question. I can't remember exactly what it was. Something like, "How would you do going forward?" or "How," it was something like that. And then Anthony kind of gave a whole lot more information. So great open question, great listening. Carry on, James. Sorry, I just wanted
No,
to
that's fine.
capture
And
that.
my next thing that I was going to do was relate it back to something Freddie said earlier, and to try and draw Project Six back in within this, because we're talking about was it the currency of recovery capital or something like that? Freddie,
Yep.
was that the thing? So what do we find in what Anthony's been saying, and where do you see that going, Freddie? I mean, that was my sort of next lead in.
Yeah. So let's just hold that question for a second. I'm just curious about Jamil's nodding. How are you feeling, Jamil?
Yeah, it was firstly, well done, Anthony, for where
Thanks.
you're at now in your journey. It was scary because there was so much of the life story that you've told. It is exactly, well, not exactly, but very similar um to my journey. I won't go through everything, but a lot of what you said I've experienced as well.
So do
And
you notice how Jamil's smiling there when he says that? He said, yeah, a lot of there's that relating. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I see a lot of myself
good.
in Anthony there. So I can relate to what you say. And then as he's talking, he's giving me flashbacks as well. So
Okay,
as in my late teens, early 20s, how life was having a child as well, the relationship breakdown, the stress and depression that led to even more drinking, partying, others like loads of other stuff.
okay.
And
So I just wanted to pause again. Sorry. So as we listen to other people's stories and our stories get activated, how do we look after ourselves? Okay, as coaches. So we're sitting there, we've got lived experience, we're listening to someone share their lived experience, and it touches our lived experience. And we've kind of got to hold on to it in a way and use it in a way that's going to be beneficial for our coachees. And then we get paid for that. Yep. So you're a professional golfer when you get paid for playing golf.
I,
Yeah.
I'd name that if it were me. I'd let them know in some way. I'd say like, you know what, I feel that story inside me too. Carry on. Just want to let you
Yeah.
know there's a lot of energy in my body in sharing this. Just want to let you know. That's
Okay.
what I do. I found that helpful to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not alone. I get it. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we got to be cautious of is that 12-step sponsor sponsee type relationship. This isn't that. Yeah. Now, Anthony has spoken about his recovery and he's getting a lot of support in 12-step fellowship, and that works. Yep, that's good for him. Yep. This isn't sponsorship. This is coaching. Okay. So just kind of learning here about coaching. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going.
I
Let's go
find
to project 6. Okay, you want to say some more,
no,
Jamil?
just what you was just saying. I find that interesting. Well, as well, different people need different help. So the fellowship or the CA or AA, for example, that didn't work for me.
Okay.
After rehab, and I tried it, and it just didn't work. And for some people, it does work, and for others, it doesn't. So I guess as well, it's important to recognize within yourself what works for you. Tailor your recovery as well to what works for you. So, but it's good that Anthony is finding the fellowship.
And
Uh,
what's good is you kept it to yourself. You didn't say, oh, the fucking fellowship, that's a lot of shit. I tried that, that doesn't work. You kept stum about it. And it's like, okay, well, it's working for him, good for him.
Yeah, every individual is different. Everyone,
Multiple
what works for
pathways to
me
recovery.
may not. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I can feel I'm a bit excited. I keep jumping in before people have finished talking. I'm sorry about that. Let me just put my hands up here. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, James brought Project 6 back into the room. And Charlie, I just want to know, you're bloody quiet. Okay, bloody oxygen thief. Okay, let's go
I'm
to
just listening.
Project 6.
Yeah, Stan, are we there?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, going back to the fellowship and the work thing. Where early doors, I really struggled with that. I wanted to shout it from the rooftops, but my recovery and other people's recovery are two separate things. One thing becomes work, and the other thing is my recovery. And I won't say never the two shall meet, but if the two do meet, it's got to be in a place where it's warranted. And I really keep my own recovery as my own recovery. My own recovery is personal to me, and do not instill or try to put my beliefs onto anyone else. As I said earlier, the people know what they want. Maybe if somebody's in a place where they could be signposted, and maybe a subtle hint, or if people express an opinion that they'd like to try it, fair enough. But the more I get into this and the more I go down the road, I'm starting to realise that these two separate entities, my recovery and work, and that's how I think it should be. If I was to, anything anybody said was to be triggered, I've got my recovery to fall back on. I've got my people that I can reach out to, and it shouldn't bleed over onto somebody else's recovery.
Okay. So you're getting nice role clarity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
That's great. Okay.
This oxygen thief now. Just going back to talking about being triggered, there isn't a conversation that doesn't happen that I'm not kind of triggered. I've been in, I was in addiction for 30 years with alcohol and cocaine, so there isn't like a conversation in recovery that doesn't trigger me. Being in the fellowship of 2.5 years, I have a love-hate relationship with them, you know. And what I really had to do in being a sponsor as well is I had to almost relearn when I became a coach, because that wasn't the hat that I thought I was going to be. That is not the hat. And so by coaching, what I have learned is that I can sit with the trigger. I can sit with that feeling, that emotion inside, and I can sit with that. And then I can learn to listen to the person who's speaking. And there may be a time that I can bring that kind of trigger in, or I don't have to bring it in at all. But there is like, man, even all the conversations this morning, I felt it. I felt it real hard in my stomach. But what I have learned to do is sit with that and go, right, I am feeling that. That's all right, because we've all got massive lived experience here. And I would imagine every conversation, or nearly every conversation that we have. So for me in the fellowship, it was an experience of sharing my triggers. Whenever I was triggered, I was like, I'm Charlie, I'm an alcoholic. I just want to tell you how I feel. But now, like in the kind of coaching environment, what I have learned is just man, sit with that. I'm all right. I'm safe and sound. And I find that I mean, coaching is more like in me, man, it's been like a gateway. It's like a gateway into my passion and my purpose, into my really safe space. And that's what coaching's given me actually, where the fellowship is a tremendous spiritual place that I found recovery. But there was a time on that where I needed more and I wanted more. So coaching gave me this like multiple paths to recovery that I didn't know existed. And I really, really needed that man then. So that man really learning to be in my space, learning to really, really listen, and then learning about my triggers and when to speak. So I've been doing this for about 8 months and I absolutely love it. I love it. And that's the reason why when I've come back on this man call this morning, because there's so much to learn. There is absolutely so much in my learning. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Right. Did you want to say something, James?
I was close to actually, yeah. And it's
I saw your jaw go.
sort of echoing a round robin approach to what I'm listening to and what I'm hearing from the group. And as a former chef, it kind of reminds me of diet. Like what is your lifestyle diet? Yeah, and we don't have one thing to eat every day at the same time, because A, that's boring, and B, it's not good for you. So this kind of cumulative approach to treatment services, mental health teams, fellowship ideals, spiritual ideals, personal beliefs, you know, and how to reinforce them. And that's kind of what I'm hearing from everybody so far is like a varied approach to those things, and it just reminded me of diet. So that's where I was going. Yes, eating.
Thank you, James. All right. So, Anthony, what happens at this part of the call is we take a break. We say goodbye to Project 6. They will go off and coach each other in teams or however that works for them. And then we'll come back and we'll carry on the container. So, Project 6, what have you guys learned today? What's your takeaway and how are you checking out before you have a break and meet up?
I'll check out as just a realization again and a refresher on that there's multiple disciplines, faiths, practices, ways of being in the world that ultimately lead to the same thing, which is a return to peace, love, freedom, all that good stuff. But there's no set agenda that you have to follow. Thank you. Appreciate it. Chris?
Yeah, more or less it's not exactly a textbook case. It's like Spaghetti Junction, really. To their direction to where they want to be. There's no fixed route at all. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Tim, checking out. Thank you. And I admire the honesty of Anthony and Jamil. It's astounding that I've used that word twice, but I've learned that there are. Well, I've always known there are different ways to get to the ultimate goal of recovery, and none of them are right and none of them are wrong. You take what you want from it, and what works for you is great. If it works for you, great. And I take something from every meeting I attend, every single meeting. So thank you. Stan?
Yeah, Stan, checking out. I've enjoyed this one today. Recovery is a broad spectrum, and there's many different branches to the tree, and you've just got to offer them and see what the individual wants to take up themselves. All you can do is there and help and signpost as required. Over to Dom.
Oh yeah, Dom checking out. I'd like to reiterate the fact that listening is a major thing that really helps, and through listening to other people and realizing the difficulties they faced, not so different to my own, but we're all getting there in the end, and it's good to hear that.
Odie?
Oh, check out. Yeah, sorry I had to leave. It was a call about my son, his referral. I mean, I've kind of missed past 15 minutes.
Sorry, just checking.
Yeah, feel good.
Odie, you just got to say that the training's fantastic and you love it.
It's I love it. It's brilliant.
Great. Thanks, Cody.
Zoe and Manya have arrived as well.
Hello, Zoe and Manya.
Hiya. Hello.
Hello, nice to see you both. We're just checking out. Freddie, do you want to go?
Sure, thank you. This session for me, I think, has been really useful, sort of looking at triggers, managing triggers, sort of how that can come up for different people and how we can manage that and utilize sort of self-soothing to being able to engage fully in the conversation, and also to make sure that we can acknowledge that and we can sit with that and utilize that to be able to support the coaching in of itself. So long as it's obviously useful for the client, as you know, all I do is to give them agency and direction. I think I feel very privileged to have been trusted with such personal stories as well. I wanted to thank Anthony for sharing. yeah, it's given me a lot of food for thought today. And I'm excited to look over the learning materials and see where we can progress from there.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Is that everyone? Good. All right. Well, we'll leave you to it, and I'll see you all next week. And you're over the hump. So you got what? 4 more left or 5 more left? Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Project 6.
Thank you.
I'm starving.
Okay. Let's take a 7-minute break. 8-minute break. See you back here at
Yeah,
5
time for
past.
toast. Time for toast.
James.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. I think.
What, in a Descartes kind of fashion, or just like, you know, are you genuinely all right?
Yeah. I got a lot to be grateful for. But I do still have anxiety plagues me.
I think that is the greatest symptom of being alive, though, isn't it? Like if you're not anxious about it, if you're not considering it, then are you in it?
Right. Who are we waiting for? Jamil.
Hello.
Hey, Jamil.
Hello. Sorry if I'm late.
Right. All right.
One of the things, Jamil, that I've been trying to practice myself is not apologizing for me. That's a big thing, you know. Okay, so I arrived a little bit late to this today, you know, and that's because I had stuff. I was doing stuff, yeah, but I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry about the fact that I was doing stuff for myself. Um, I, I appreciate that it might have held other people up, you know, but yeah, no apologies for
Yeah.
myself.
It's funny because I was with my girlfriend on Sunday, and she's someone who apologizes way too much. And she asked me, what is it about her that I've noticed that she does too much of? And I said that, and I did tell her that I'm picking up your bad habits of apologizing too much. So it's funny that you picked up on that. Thanks for that.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with compassion and
Yeah.
open response, but there we are. Anyway, sorry. So do we want to rebuild the container? Should we rebuild?
Anyway, sorry. Do you want to rebuild the container? Yes. Yes, James. For that, as punishment, you can build the container.
Okay, all right then. So, well, I'll check in with being unapologetic for myself and well aware of my own flaws and able to point them out to other people too, if they are not already well aware. And I will then go straight to Anthony and say, "How you doing, Anthony?"
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I think intrigued to find out more, and it feels, good to be on the call and listening in and hearing what's going on with it all.
Who would you like to pass that on to?
I'll pass that on to Jamil.
And yeah, I don't really have much really to add. Funny enough, let me think. What would I add to the container? It's a very interesting first hour, and I think it was a good platform to start off with, and looking forward to the rest of the session.
That's nice. There was a lot of I in that, and I like that. Yeah, it's you, isn't it? It's how do you feel? Where are you within those things? That's great. That's amazing. Who would you like to pass that on to?
So I can't see the names.
It's Charlie or David.
David.
No, I got to say, is it Jamil or Jamil?
Jamil.
Jamil. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Oh, yeah, I check in. I've just put my laundry on and picked up my council tax bill. So I feel like a proper productive member of society. Yes, it's all those little things in life that trip me up. I'll take Charlie.
Thanks, David. I was heavily triggered by James when he started talking about food. And so in the 7 minutes that I switched my camera off, I managed to eat a big, massive scone, a cinnamon bagel, and a nice chunky caramel Kit Kat. Uh, it's like, I know. And I've still got my 4 eggs and some sausages to go as soon as I get off this call. So, but yeah, I'm full of joy. It's lovely to be back on this on Tuesday morning call. Actually, I've missed it. Do you know when you're away, you're from something, and then when you come back and you go, oh, I've really missed this. So it's nice to be back, and it's nice to be sitting here feeling triggered by James.
Mm. And you know, I'm really glad to hear that this kind of like round positivity for where we are, and hearing the kind of the experiences that we've had, like reflecting back upon just the last hour, as you know, I get the impression that it's having an effect upon people. So if we're going towards contracting, then what are we going to achieve in the next hour? Where are we going to take the things that we've learned already, and what are we going to do with them? Where are we going to put them? Any thoughts? All open forum. Raise your hands, butt in, talk whenever. Okay, that's terrified absolutely everybody, hasn't it? Oh my God, no, it's open, it's free. I don't know whether to talk or not to talk. Raise your hands, maybe, like if you want to like pop in with where do you want this session to go for the next hour? Where would you like it to go?
I think for me, being on my first call and a bit in the deep end, it'd be good, yeah, just to see how the next hour goes and what it entails, and just here to learn and be part of this experience.
To learning's good. We like learning. Jamil, sorry, Jamal. I will remember that. I will get that in my head eventually.
It's all right. So everyone, I get called Jamie, Jamil, Jamal, whatever. So you get there.
I answer to most things, even if they're rude.
Same really. Learning. That's what we're here to do, to learn. I think what I last week, when I was here last week and this week, something that's come up again is listening. Listening being I think that's a very strong principle, I would say, in coaching. I've learned it as well from life coaching. Listening is very important, and it's not so much about having the answers. It's more about supporting the client. So with doing it with life coaching, I'm interested to see how it works with recovery as well. Recovery and life coaching is similar practices, I guess, but very different. So interested to see if it can go in that direction as well. That'll be nice.
I'm kind of interested by that as well. Like what the differences are, because how I see it and how you see it are going to be two. They are different things, but how they connect and where they connect is kind of where I find my greatest interest.
Yeah.
See, David's already got the whiteboard going, and he's going to draw a set of headphones any second now.
That's a jelly-neck curve.
Oh.
And we talk about a culture of learning, culture of addiction, and a culture of recovery. And people go from a state of using a substance. Yep, so that's normal life people use normally, if there's such a thing. And then some people need treatment. Yep. So people use, they misuse, they abuse, and they become dependent. Jamal, is it difficult to see the screen?
I can kind of see. I can see some lines, but it's all right. As you're talking through, the more I look at it, the more it will I have some clarity there.
Okay, great. All right. So life coaching. Uh, what color is good for you? Yellow, green.
Yellow and black. So a yellow background with black text or lines, or if
Fuck,
that's
I don't know how to, I don't know how to do that.
it's all right. Don't worry. I'll be fine. I'll be fine with what I see. Don't worry.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
try and remember for. All right. So life coaching sits in this area. Yeah. Where people kind of get on with life and life's normal. Recovery coaching sits in this area where there's a substance or some sort of addictive behavior involved. Does that make sense? So, and you're still coaching, so you'll get football coaching, tennis coaching, sports coaching, life coaching, business coaching, computer coaching, parent coaching, whatever. That sits in the kind of people are functioning normally. Recovery coaching is there's a component of an addictive behavior that is influencing the person's life and all areas of their life. Yep. So recovery coaching is my addiction is impacting my relationship with myself. It's impacting me as an employee. It's impacting me as a husband. It's impacting me as a father. It's impacting me as a son. It's impacting me as a brother. It's impacting me as a citizen in society. And the addiction has impacted all of those. So, recovery coaching is a conversation to recover back the role of me being a father, or the role of me being a good citizen, or the role of me being somebody that's employable. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean recovery coaching is going to get me to stop using drugs.
Mm.
Recovery coaching might get someone into the harm reduction. Yeah. And because they've moved into a place of harm reduction, they become more functioning in their other roles in their life. Yes, Anthony.
I guess with recovery coaching, at what stage of someone's addiction is a recovery coach most effective? Because I think coming out of treatment, only 5% of those people don't relapse, which is a very small number. Are they most effective, is a recovery coach most effective for people coming out of treatment, or for the guys who haven't sunken that far to rock bottom yet, I guess?
Okay, so I want you to take that stat of 5% and fucking flush it down the loo.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first thing I want you to do. Because once someone goes into treatment or wherever they go and their denial gets challenged, yep, or broken, once people kind of realize, oh, fuck, I'm in here for drugs, they can never go back to using in the same way again. So all that happens is when people leave treatment and they so-called relapse, they're just using substances with the knowledge of recovery around them.
Yep.
Yeah, which is very different to when using in a culture of addiction when you're in denial. When
Yeah.
you're in denial about it, oh, I use because of my job. My boss is a prick. If you were married to my wife, you'd also use. You don't understand my childhood. You're always thinking, I got divorced. That's why you. Bloody hell, the sun's come out this morning. That's why I use. I don't know. It's got, yeah. But once the person's gotten into recovery and they've got a sense of like, oh, I can live without the substance. All they're doing then is using with the knowledge that there's a choice of recovery. When
Yeah.
someone's in a cult of addiction, there is powerlessness because the person doesn't know.
Mm.
Yep. And I'm happy to debate this and argue this because I used to be a 12-step Nazi that was like, I've got a disease, I've got it forever, you know, only 3% of people survive this. I'm one of those 3%. You better fucking listen to me because I used to smoke crack and shoot heroin, and therefore I can give you advice about your business and your marriage and how to bring up your kids and what psychiatric meds you should be taking. I was unconsciously incompetent.
Yeah.
I was a fucking embarrassment. If I look at myself now, I think, oh my God, how did I behave like that?
Yeah.
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 And
And I guess
and
my experience with that, is that what we discussed in the first hour is that everyone's recovery journey is different. I've kept in touch with a bunch of people from the dawn. And as you said, even being in the rooms, people who are relapsing, they've got a different outlook on it, and they know that there's a different way of life, but they're not currently there. And I've heard some people say in meetings, I keep relapsing, but I'm still in recovery. I've got that knowledge and I'm working towards it, So I do agree.
and that'll work for those individuals. Where people will struggle with it is where people put a lot of emphasis on clean time and you know, I've got 10 years clear. Like there's that saying that goes, clean time's good, but recovery is better. Like I've met some very unwell people with a lot of clean time, but also I've met a lot of people that have very little clean time, but are very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if we look at the history of the 12 step stuff, that kind of came out of the Oxford group, which was a Christian based support group that morphed into AA, which was a Christian based support group where we're using faith to help people specifically with alcohol. And then at the end of the 50s, it moved into the disease concept, moved into the medical world. Yep. And then the Minnesota model kind of came out and 12-step treatment centers. And then in the 70s, they moved into the biopsychosocial model, which means there's the biology, there's a physical side of things, there's a psychology where you need to learn stuff. Yep, that you're uneducated and you need to learn stuff. And then the social stuff is the environments that you're in impact your recovery. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, like you've been to Thailand for treatment. You went to a sunny island, a what's it, Thai massages and swims in the sea and qigong and acupuncture and then going from that sunny environment, going back to Middlesbrough or wherever it is, where the problem was in the first place, there's a big cultural shock.
Yeah.
Yep, you've got to learn how to find recovery in your hometown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think the one big thing where you said about the clean time is coming at a lot of the therapists, they said that the clean time doesn't recovery is an action program, not a clean time program.
Yep, I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
And that's what I kind of try and do. Have a lot of my life was ruled by fear, and I think, when I have that fear is, taking action, and that's where the growth is on a daily basis.
Yep, That's why I don't stop working, because I've got so much fucking anxiety. I'm a proper workaholic. It's my kokorozashi. It gives me meaning and purpose. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
s- I still struggle to connect with my kids and my girlfriend. Um, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, but I get that I'm not exactly a full picnic basket. Yeah. And I'm kind of like I got to live with me too.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean, it's
To me, that makes perfect sense, David, because with all of these things, the the aspect of denial is what we were talking about, wasn't it? Which leads you to that kind of culture of addiction. That's one of the kind of grassroots of problematic behaviors or thinking. To my mind, recognition of where you are, who you are, what drives you, where you go. Those things are essential, and learning to walk along with them, accepting them as part of yourself. That's to me the culture of recovery. The place in which you can do stuff, and then clean time becomes unimportant. Um, the main the important things to me anyway that I find are my relationship with the world, and how that is impacted by other things, how I process that, how I deal with that. Those things are then my behaviors, and then which ones of those I can learn to live with and walk along with, and which ones are not acceptable to society. That's one, not useful in a functional relationship. Two, not useful to an employer. Three, these things, but they're all secondary to my own comfort level, and that's where I find myself within that. But I'm going to stop blibbering so much. And I was noticing Jamil was having a nod then.
Sorry, I nod a lot because I'm agreeing with what's being said there. I think to add to what you was just saying about what you is what you're saying about what you put out into the world. If you however you see the world, or whatever it is that you put out, if you put out positive energy, you receive positive. If you put out negative, you receive negative. For example, I think when I was, at rock bottom, very negative, I put out a lot of negative energy, a lot of negative came back. Once I became sober, became more positive, a lot more positive things came. So I got a lot more opportunity, distancing myself from negative people and allowing positive people to come in. It changes the balance of your world. It makes everything's a lot better with work, your social life, relationship, everything changes. I always say with alcohol, it's funny, alcohol is called spirits, isn't it? And it's almost when you allow the devil in, being a spirit, it sort of takes control and it changes you from within. Um, and once you get rid of that negative thing that is alcohol, if you misuse it, that is, because obviously some people are all right with it. But yeah, sorry, I'm going off with it.
No,
all
no,
over the
no.
place a little bit
I'm
there.
following you along there.
Um,
I can see that everybody else is like
yeah.
really kind of into what you're saying as well. Everyone's listening.
So yeah, I get what you were saying. I think I kind of understand what it was that you were saying.
The only thing that I would kind of like put in a direct challenge to that is that if alcohol itself were the problem, then everyone who drank alcohol would turn into some kind of schizophrenic demon. Yeah, and that's not the case, is it? So I would encourage myself to think like, what's it working on? It's working on the things that are within me, and those things are the things I need to address. And then it doesn't matter then whether it's alcohol, cocaine, heroin, codeine, whatever. None of these things are actually the demon. They're not at fault. It's me and my behavioral patterns that need addressing. And those things are not faults either. But they are things that need correcting because you desire to do so, because you've experienced the sharp end of those things. And that's kind of where that's about as far as I've got. If we're talking recovery as a journey, like Anthony's been talking about his thing, where it's like it's still very very nascent, very fresh, very new. Kind of like rejoining society after a period of break. Charlie's been doing this for years, bouncing backwards and forwards on and off. And David's folded his arms, sitting back and hoping that we'll all keep talking for a little bit longer. But
I had to make peace with me first. From my first and foremost, it was making peace with myself. For years, or the first year in recovery, it was trying to understand my actions and how I turned into that person that I could never understand. That was basically like in the first year. And now it's like I'm all right not understanding. I had to come to peace with that. I really had to come to peace. It's like, I'll never really get to the bottom of where my anger and my fury really, really came from during those 30 odd years. And I'm all right with that. For me, it's all about showing up. How do I show up, especially when I wake up in the morning? How am I showing up? How's my mindset? How am I doing? And really, that all happens unconsciously. I'm just unconsciously aware of me, and you'll probably be aware. I'm in a caravan here, over man in Crimden Dean. I don't know, man, if Anthony knows man Crimden Dean, man being a borough lad.
Maybe, yeah. Whereabouts is it? Where is it in the
Crimden Dean is
moors?
just past. Crimden Dean is just past Hartlepool, Anthony.
No, I'm not sure where it is. I know
No,
Harley.
no, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
And there's a cliff top here, and I'm about 20 meters from a cliff top. And really, what that was all about was about I was about 5 months into recovery, and I just felt that I had to get out of society because it was all like people. I didn't realize my anxiety around people actually, in Asda or traffic lights, people on top of me and whatever else, and the noise. I had loads of noise in my head, and I realised about 6 months that for me to really stand a chance at this, I really had to try and get out of the noise so that I could start to listen to my noise. So I purchased a caravan over man, a place called Mancrimdy Demon next to Hartlepool, and I've nearly been here in 2 years. And kind of what that's brung me is that inner peace because um, I'm still very anxious around people, and I didn't realize that because alcohol, man, and drugs made me less anxious. But the more in my sobriety, the more recovery, man, I got, the more I realised I'm really anxious around people. So I really wanted to slow this human being down from head to toe. I just wanted to slow me down and then really get a grasp of what this person is. Who is this person? How do I actually work? Because I believe that my mum and dad gave me the name Charlie, but I'm not actually man Charlie. That's just the tag. So for me, it's like, right, who is this person? How does he actually work just here? And what I found is like I was easily bored in my life. I've never been bored once, since I've been here, and that's because I started that inner healing that I'm still doing actually. That inner process of trying to get to know this human being, and really I take it all to connection. Connection is absolutely key. Connection in community. But all during my 2.5 years, there's been different parts to your community. There's been the fellowship, this a love-hate thing that I've got, and then I've joined another community, and I'm in coaching, which I absolutely love. And so all along this recovery my journey, this it's it's really it's in me it's really all about this inner healing, this inner person inside, really getting to know this man person. What does Charlie really, really, really like? And just to end on this, I used to be a massive Glasgow Rangers fan. I used to be a massive royalist. No. I used to do all this stuff, Netflix and all this stuff. As soon as I went into recovery, I've never watched the TV. I've never watched a bit of football. I don't know any politics. I don't know any of this stuff. So what does that man tell me, man, personally? It tells me I was never interested in the first place. I was just, I was just, I was trying to make everybody else happy. But the only person I wasn't making happy was myself. I was giving 5% to everybody else and 0% to this guy. So just the ability to wake up, just to wake up without a blooming hangover, and then on the ability to wake up, So to me, that's what my recovery is about. Sorry if I've ranted on there.
Not at all, not at all, because it kind of answers where we were, I think, on a lot of things, and I could see, yeah, there's a lot of agreement in the room, people are nodding their heads, and getting to that kind of idea that I mean, I like a metaphor. I've always liked a metaphor, and like if you're walking through your daily life and someone takes a photograph of you, that's you at that moment, right there,
Yeah.
right then. But you're going to carry on moving for the rest of the day. You're not going to be different from that person. You are that person, but you're not static like that anymore. You're still discovering new things. You're going to come across something else. Your responses will still be uniquely yours, but tempered by something else. And that to me is like the kind of the process of coaching and conversations around it is more identifying those things that happen to you after that snapshot photograph, and just being able to recognize them. That to me sounds, in the same way as Anthony's been doing, same as David's been owning some things that he's been talking about, and with Jamal, I've got it right this time,
Yeah, cool.
the process of identification is the thing, isn't it? And knowing yourself, that's the journey. And then whatever happens to you on that journey, whatever things occur, those are the examination points. That's me having run out of stuff now. I'm gibbering. So I'll pop it back over to I don't know, Anthony, you're grinning there. So
yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? It's learning to love yourself on this healing journey and be compassionate in challenging times to yourself and taking responsibility, self-responsibility.
Yeah,
So
ownership.
what are we learning about coaching?
Let other people talk and do some more listening, which I haven't been doing.
So now I'm going to draw the headphones. Okay. So Jamal, there are the headphones.
Yeah.
The headphones is a symbol for the coaching conversation, and classes 1 to 4 are about the headphones, about how to have the coaching conversation. And Anthony, what we've done today is we've done the 3 C's of check-in, contract, and build the container. And then the agenda came from the classroom. Yeah, what are we going to talk about? And then we've asked questions. We get 2 types of questions. You get an open question, which is like, what would you like to talk about? And then a closed question would be, would you like to talk about your addiction? Yeah, it's a yes/no answer. Yeah. And then we've been listening at levels 1, 2, and 3. So listening at level 1 is I'm listening to respond. Yep. Oh yeah, so you used to smoke crack. Oh yeah, me too. And back and when you want to do this, oh well, you da 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 da. Yeah. Level 2 listening is listening to body language and becoming aware of what the other person is. So I noticed when you checked in, remember I said, oh, you've just smiled at that or something. Remember me doing that when you kind of crossed your arms and there was a sense of relief on your body?
Yeah.
Yep. And then level 3 is listening to us, is listening to the relationship. And if I look at the container here as we're talking about us, it feels as if there's a nice vibe in this classroom.
Yeah.
Yep. And what we're listening for is needs, values, and purpose. Yeah. So that's what the coaching conversation's about. That's the framework of the conversation, and this is kind of what what we've been talking about today for yourself and Jamal, who's committed to coming and doing the training, and he's at week 2. So Jamal, how are you feeling now that you've kind of kicked off this journey and you're committed to it and signed up and
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. This uh different session from last week. It was nice to actually meet new people because last week it was a couple of other lads that was on here, wasn't it? Different, and so it was nice to meet everyone that was on here before. Different dynamic, different personalities, characters. It's nice, and looking forward to more, and looking forward as well to going through. I didn't have a chance last week, but I have a chance this week to look through the course material that's on the app. So I'm looking forward to doing that this week as well. Yeah.
no problem. Take your time, just to ease into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I will do. I will do.
Yeah. So James, how's you've been around a while now? Yeah. You must have done around, I don't know, 24 hours of coaching, 25 hours, 26 hours. You're muted.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that, and sort of involved since was it like September last year or something like that? And so Jamal, I've only done module 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. These things, they do them at your own pace. They come. It's fine. And what I'm kind of feeling at the moment is a bit of kind of heavy anxiety around having taken a bit more of a directorial role in conversations this session, and I'm not entirely comfortable with that because
What's driving that anxiety?
mostly that I don't trust myself enough to lead conversations, and I shouldn't be leading conversations. This is it's an open forum for things, and so I'm aware that my voice has been louder than everybody else's, and that makes me anxious.
And what might happen?
Nothing bad, but other people will not feel as though they can talk as much as actually the case, you know, and that they can. And I would never want that situation to occur.
Okay, so what value is your anxiety trying to protect?
I don't know the answer to that question right now.
So for me, what I'm seeing is it sounds as if you value inclusivity. You want everyone to kind of be involved.
Yes.
My sense is you're a compassionate man, that you care for people.
there is that, and yes, I think that's quite true. And perhaps that I'm not great at sitting in silence. I kind of I want conversation and activity all the time, and I don't like grandstanding or platforming, and that's where I feel I've been, and I don't like that.
Okay. Okay, so remember I was saying we go through the process. Yeah, James has just spoken about the process, like he's just made a whole fucking movie in his head about grandstanding and da da da. You know, and we're all sitting here, we got our own fucking movies going on.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Show me your film clips, because mine, I'm with them all the time.
Could I give Emma James some feedback? James, I thought you did terrifically well, pal. I really, really did. I didn't see any grandstanding. I didn't really see any jumping in. I thought you're very engaging, actually. You're very easy to engage with, and I thought your questions were really good, man. Really open questions as well, man. You really got Anthony to open up as well. What I thought was a terrific open question. So I just wanted to give you that feedback, mate. I thought completely differently what you just said there. I was like, where's he getting that from? But I know because I do the exact same.
Interior film script.
I do the exact same or not, but I just wanted to tell you that I'm not blowing smoke up your bum, but thought you did extraordinarily well. Very compassionate as well, as David said, and you and really good at listening as well to come in and he come back with the questions that you were coming in with, and very easy to relate with. Very easy to relate with, brother. So I just wanted to give you that.
Thank you, Charlie. That's much appreciated, and it does come contrary to the internal film script. Well, I don't know. Let's bounce that over to Anthony and see where he is.
Stop blessing me. Fuck off. Go somewhere else.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
To see where I am with what in particular.
How the session's gone, how you feeling now? Because I think what we're doing is kind of approaching a checking out procedure, aren't we?
Good, James. You got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's been interesting to see, the dynamics and, to hear what you guys have had to say and share. And yeah, I guess that's it. I feel, well, as I said, I'm still medicated, so I don't feel a lot, but in my mind, it feels like there's something exciting.
Externally, I've seen you smiling, nodding, waving your hands, that kind of stuff. Those all look
Yeah.
like reactions to me. So I don't think you're that heavily medicated that you can't enjoy life. So you're all right.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. Um, but yeah, it's been good. I'm grateful to have been allowed the opportunity to join. So thank you guys.
Thanks, thank you, because it's only ever comprised of us, all individuals. So there's no kind of like debt of gratitude owed to any of these things. It doesn't work unless we're all here. So winning.
Yeah.
Jamal, how are you, man? Where are you right now?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's interesting what you're saying. You're taking on the director's role. Now that you said it, I understand. I understand now because I thought that you was David at one point because he was sort of
Don't curse him like that.
taking
That's
on the
terrible.
role of no, in a good way. In a good way, you're taking on the role of head honcho. I was like, okay, but yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Like Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, like Charlie was saying, good questions, open-ended
I don't want to
questions.
know about me. I want to know about you.
No, I'm just saying what I've observed and what I've seen. So that's good. And Anthony as well. Appreciate Anthony's presence and coming here and opening up. and Charlie as well for opening up. And myself, again, I feel great, happy to be here, and I'm keen to learn more about recovery coaching and where it can take me, and as well use this opportunity to how can I put this now? To learn more about myself actually, and to do better, to do better. And that's it really. That's where I'm at.
So Jamal, may I tell James a bit about you?
Sure, yeah, sure.
Yep. Okay. So, James, I got some feedback for you. You're going to have to practice getting some compliments and just sitting there and receiving it. Yep. Jamal's eyesight was severely impacted by his drinking. Yep. So when he's sitting there saying he thought you were me, he genuinely can't see so he genuinely really, you know. So that's something that I think you need to be aware of, so that you can receive the feedback in a way that lands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I could tell the difference in the voice. I was saying that as in he was leading so well that I thought that I thought that he was David because he was doing so well at leading.
Yeah.
But and yeah, sometimes my sight does. It takes a second for me to realize who's talking.
And
Cool.
you're quite right. I'm shit at taking compliments.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I just want to compliment you on your honesty now and for owning that you're shit at that. Well done.
I've got no choice but to take that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right, everyone. I've had a great class. And yeah, thank you for teaching me stuff. I'm ready to check out. Are you lot all ready to check out? Yeah. Anthony, really nice meeting you. Thank you for being so open and telling us about yourself. You decide if you want to join in your own time and let me know. And yeah, I check out with pride. I'm actually really proud of what we're doing here. And I enjoyed the fact that it was men today, mostly, because there is a like there needs to be spaces for men's vulnerable voices to be heard in a way that is supportive, um, and not patronized. It's a difficult place to get to, yeah. But it's very much needed. I will tag Jamal.
I'm checking out with just saying thanks to everyone for being here and open to listening and sharing experiences, and that's it really. Just wish everyone a good rest of the day, really.
Who are you tagging, Jamal?
Oh, sorry.
Anthony, Charlie, or James?
I'll tag Anthony.
Thanks, Joel. Yeah, I feel like it's been informative and interesting, and yeah, I guess that it's been good to be a part of it. It'd be good to understand the, more of how the course runs and works, and the more logistical details. But I think something that I'm interested in. And I guess, the sun is shining, so I'm gonna go out for a walk and, make the most of the day. And I hope you guys do too. So thank you. I'll pass you over to Charlie.
Thanks, Anthony. I'm very similar to David. I was glad it was an all men's container because I don't think that we have enough space for just men. So I found that was quite nice, especially for myself. I'm checking out to be gratitude. It was lovely to meet you three chaps. I found it a very easy container to join in. It was very relaxed. I thought James did well, or should I say David James did well. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and I'll be definitely back next Tuesday because I've really enjoyed it. And I'll tag James.
Cheers, Charlie. I'm just going to check out with some humility. I think I've learned a lot today, a lot about myself, a lot about you, lovely people, and the value of vulnerability and exposure.
Hi, everyone. I think that's everyone. See you when I see you.
See you on the other side. I'm starving.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
A wonderful day in the sunshine, gentlemen.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys. Bye,
Take
guys. Bye,
care.
guys.
Good fight.